This is my video in response to Indian Trace's Top 12 Challenge. The stuff I've gotten together isn't necessarily my nicest stuff, but it's my favorites, either because of a story or just the piece itself. So let's get started. At this point here, I found in 6th grade camp, we were doing an outside activity, and as usual, I got in trouble and I couldn't partake in the activity, so they sat me down next to this dry weather creek, and I started stacking rocks in a castle. You know how you do. You know, make a circle and then stack on top of it, building it up. And I picked this rock up, set it on my castle, took a look at it, and I didn't know exactly what it was, but I knew it was something. It wasn't just a rock. So that was the very beginning. Well, not the beginning of my hunting, but the first point I ever found. Now, the very beginning brings me to my second piece, which is nothing but a pottery shard, but I used to be a obsessive compulsive fisherman. I would fish every day after work during the season, never missed a day. I had a whole network of creeks and farm ponds that I would keep up with. So I was fishing one of the creeks one day, and we decided to take a break at an overhang that we stopped at frequently when we were on this creek. And as I was walking up the bank, back in a little cubby hole, I spied this piece of pottery. Now, I didn't think it was anything spectacular, but I knew it was something. I knew it was man-made, I knew it was old. Did a little research, and some other people that knew stuff about it let me know that it was pottery. And so that started my collecting. So eventually my fishing turned into rock hunting, and here we are. The third piece is the one and only axe I've ever found. I found this in a subdivision by St. Louis, outside of St. Louis. And it's not pretty, but it's big. I mean, they used the snot out of this thing, beating, hammering stuff. You can see where the backhoe got it a couple times when they were clearing the ground. But I absolutely love it. It's the only one I've ever found. I don't know if you'd call it a full groove or a 7/8 groove, because this top groove is so shallow, whereas everything else is very distinct. Yep. The only axe I've ever found. And this little Snyder point here, I absolutely love this point because of the material. It's not like any material of anything I've ever found. I just always love this point. Plus I found it in another hunter's footprints, more or less. Then we got this Osceola. Pretty sure that's what it is. This thing I was walking through a riffle in a creek, and I spied a little fleck of blue down in the water. And I mean, the riffle was probably 1.5 feet deep, and the water was really moving. So I reached down and grabbed it and pulled it, and this is what I pulled up. Couldn't see a shape or anything, just a color. Very well made. Love this point. And there's this point. I'm not sure what it is. It's almost like a transitional piece is what I think, like between Hardin and Dalton. Beveled, extremely well made. Beautiful point. And this is the nicest Adina I've ever found. I've got a bunch of them, but this one's probably my best. Extremely well made. Look at that. There's this little discoidal I found in a creek. It's extremely crude. Somebody went to the time to put little hash marks all over it, like a little sun motif or something. I've only found 2 discoidials. And this is definitely the nicer of the two, even though it's not that nice. I don't know if that's limestone, like a real dense limestone. The other one's sandstone. There's this little table rock. Love this point. Extremely well made, like most table rocks. It's long, got a rounded tip on it. Base is heavily ground. Fantastic flaking. There's this little point. I think I got this one on video on YouTube. Not sure what it is, but it is just, if I was ever going to put a point on a necklace, this would be it. I love this little point. Awesome color. If you guys know what type it is, be sure to let me know. And we have my little Holland. Thought it was a Dalton when I first picked it up. Brooksy says Dalton Holland makes sense to me. I still absolutely love this thing. Probably my favorite point. Long time coming on this guy. And then last but not least, my absolute favorite, you guys have seen it before, my notch toe. Found this in the creek. Just like this much of it was sticking out of a bank, out of a gravel bar, like the side of one. And I was in a hurry trying to get to a spot and cross the creek, and I saw that little worked edge, and I almost didn't stop. I thought it was just a scraper or something. I was in such a hurry, and I was like, oh, better check it out. And I'm glad I did. That's what I pulled out. All right. About wraps it up. By far the longest video I've ever made. Hope you guys like it. Good luck out there.